Sure.
Got a no heat coil here, gas furnace, and we're gonna go in the attic and see what we got. Trane XB80. All right, the GoPro's dead, so we stuck our jumper wire from R&W. He's tried and we got nothing. That looked to be board related there. We'll see if it'll try again. Maybe we'll just reset instead of having to be patient here. Flame sensor looks nasty, but we didn't get that far. We got gas valve issues. So let's look at that. I'm just going to pull these two wires off this valve, stick my leads on them. Looks like I might have to hold one of them. We're going to see if we're actually getting 24 volts to it or what's happening here. Here comes our hot surface. Yep. So we did get voltage to the valve, but we did not get any results from that voltage. And this definitely on. So hopefully we have one with us, but not that that's going to fix it. Just for giggles. How about that? There she goes. Yeah. Now I would say we need a gas valve, but that might make it work twice, and that might make it work for 5 years.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah.
But in the middle of the night, when it's about 20 degrees, is when you're gonna find out the time's up. But we may have knocked it loose, or it may not ever fire again till we beat on it. But see, there it goes. It's gonna fire every time until I leave with all the gas valves in my truck.
Yeah.
But when we sit here and try it, it's just gonna light every time.
Yeah.
I've seen these little solenoids stick in them before.
Yeah.
And you know, it might be all right, but see, I mean, we've knocked it loose and they probably work every time, but you know, it's not my house. If this was my house, you know, the body man drives around in a primered car and the mechanic drives a piece of junk. But so I'd keep going at my house, but in a customer's house, I think we want a little more assurance of dependability. So
I'd rather not come up in the attic at 2 o'clock in the morning with a hammer to
and
tap
on. Well, no, I just used my little rubber just tap pretty easy, so.
Yeah, let's switch it out then.
So let's put a valve on this thing and get this man. So we had a valve in the truck. Probably nothing wrong with that one now that we tapped on it, but the customer and I both agreed we were a little more comfortable replacing it. So there's our new one. We've still got our jumper in place, so we're gonna see if it fires off. And like I said, if you look at that flame sensor, boy, that looks pretty bad. So we're gonna pull that out and clean it too. But let's see if we're past our gas valve situation here. Make sure of that. And then we'll clean that thing and button this thing up and head to the next one. I'd say we're going to be okay. So let's pull this flame sensor out. About as ugly as those things get. So this probably never been out. So let's let you guys laugh at what I do with this here again. And had a few comments on that, but you know, we do what works. So, boy, this feels like, look at that. And an old man taught me this, that I don't know. You're not supposed to use sandpaper. You're not supposed to use any type of
real abrasive.
It's got silicone on it or whatever. Some sort of silicates in the sand, you know, whatever. You're not supposed to do that. Now, I don't think the abrasion hurts, and I'm fixing to take my knife blade to it.
Okay.
But, you know, probably 100 different ways to get one of these clean. It probably really is. And boy, that is really, feel sorry for whoever I hand this bill to. So, the old man that taught me that, that's all he did, and he stuck them back in. And I always take my knife blade to it too. But what's creating the millivolts to this is actually friction. The friction of the flame.
Yeah.
It's actually creating a tiny amount of millivolts that feed this board. So it's not a heat sensor, it's not a, you know, it's just like a, similar to a thermopile, which, you know, they make these little sensors that generate enough millivolts to run a little control system. So you have to have no power for the flame, like a gas log set will commonly have a thermopile, which is similar to a thermocouple. The thermocouple will just sense flame by heat, and then a hollow tube goes back and proves it to the valve to keep gas going. Whereas the thermopile actually takes the friction of the flame and turns it into millivolts, tiny voltage, and you can actually do a little something with it. I've had guys tell me, you know, that's not doing nothing, blah, blah. And it may not be. This may be a total waste of time. This might not be doing a thing. But I'll tell you what, I've done hundreds of them like this. And you kind of do what works. If I had a new one, I'd go down there and grab it, but this one will go back in and work. I'm quite sure of it. So we're gonna put this back in here and see if the old hippie knew what he was talking about. Other than it's hard to tighten. There it goes. Okay. Back in there. Looks a good bit better than it did. So let's just watch it fire one more time and let this man go back to his normal life. Let it burn this time and let it go ahead and bring the fan on, and then we'll take our jumper off and let the fan run to cool down the heat exchanger, and then we'll put the cabinets back on it and move on to the next one. I'm not exactly sure if it's 30 seconds or 40 seconds, but we should be getting Don't let that bother you, because if you're actually trying to use the fan to check the integrity of your heat exchanger, you need to have this door back on. So that's not what we're doing, because this fan drawing so hard right here where the combustion area is definitely causing a little pop or two in the flame there. So we'll go ahead and pull our jumper off. And then that's one thing I never do, is I never just cut it off dead. Dead cold or dead hot, whatever. Go ahead and let the fan run at least a few more seconds and cool the limits down, just to save any unnecessary errors or anything. But, I'd say this man's in good shape. So let's button it back up. She's back like she was. Customer's happy, we've tested it. They got heat. We're gonna need to replace this air soon, so when we do, we'll get video. Thanks for watching.